They chose her over me. Again. That's the first thought I had when I looked out at the crowd on the most important day of my life, and saw 2 empty seats right where my parents should have been. No apology. No call. Nothing. Just silence. But you know what stung the most? A week earlier, I'd wired $12,000 to my parents. Not because I owed them anything. Not because I had it lying around. But because they asked for it, to cover the venue deposit for my sister's upcoming wedding. And like the fool I've always been, I said yes. Because that's what I've done my entire life. Sacrifice for them. Be the responsible son. The one who helps out when things get rough. The one who doesn't cause trouble. The one they can count on, until it's time to count me in. I'm Ryan. I'm 31. I've worked in IT since I was 23. I'm not rich, but I've always been the financial backbone of my family. My parents? They've never been great with money. My dad gets laid off every couple of years. My mom jumps from part-time job to part-time job. They've always scraped by, and I get it, life is hard. But they've leaned on me way too long. And I've let them. My sister, Olivia? She's 28. Beautiful, popular, never held a job for more than 6 months, but somehow she's the golden child. My parents worship her. Everything she wants, they bend over backwards to provide. I once got grounded for bringing home a B+. She dropped out of college and they threw her a self-discovery party. I'm not kidding. When I got engaged to Natalie, my parents were, let's just say, unimpressed. No congratulations. No excitement. Just a half-hearted "oh. When's the wedding?" Natalie and I planned everything ourselves. Paid for everything ourselves. Not once did my parents offer help. But when Olivia announced her engagement 6 months later, oh, the tears, the champagne, the photo shoot in the backyard with she said yes. Sign. And then came the request. Ryan, sweetheart, my mom said one night over the phone, Olivia and Mason really want to book the lakeside hall. But we're a bit tight on cash this month. Could you maybe help with the deposit? Just until your father's next paycheck? How much? I asked, already knowing I'd say yes. About $12,000. Just to lock it in. I should have said no. Instead, I asked for their bank details. I sent the money. Told Natalie later. She wasn't thrilled, but she knows me. I can't say no to my family, even when they don't deserve me. A week later was our wedding. Small but beautiful. Intimate. Full of laughter and people who truly cared. Except my parents didn't come. At first, I thought maybe something happened. A flat tire. An emergency. But no. My cousin Maria texted me during the reception, your parents are at Olivia's engagement dinner. She just posted a story. Sorry. I didn't even know she was having a dinner that night. I watched the clip Maria sent. My mom raising a glass, to the happiest couple we know. Olivia and Mason. My dad clapping. Laughing. Dancing. I stood there, frozen, with my wife next to me in her wedding dress. Watching my parents toast my sister. While ignoring their own son's wedding day. After the honeymoon, I called them. No answer. I left a voicemail, I know you didn't come to my wedding. I saw the video. Just wanted to hear your explanation. 3 days later, my mom texted. Ryan, please don't be dramatic. Olivia's event was already planned, and we couldn't cancel it. We thought you'd understand. We'll make it up to you. Make it up to me? I gave them 12 grand. They ditched my wedding. And they thought a make-up dinner would fix that? I didn't reply. But a week later, I got another call, this time from Olivia. Hey big bro. So excited. We're thinking of doing a live band for the wedding. Mom said you might help with the rest of the expenses? My stomach turned. Excuse me? I asked, stunned. Well, since you already helped with the deposit, she giggled, I figured you were covering most of it? Mason's parents are chipping in a little, but you know how it is. I hung up. That night, I told Natalie everything. Every dime. Every insult. Every time I felt invisible. You don't owe them anything, she said firmly. This isn't love. It's abuse. She was right. For years, I convinced myself that loyalty meant sacrifice. That being a good son meant being a doormat. That my value came from what I could give, not who I was. But that night, I decided something. No more. No more phone calls. No more money. No more pretending. They skipped my wedding. So I'll skip their expectations. I blocked them all. Olivia. My mom. My dad. Let them plan their perfect wedding without me. I'm done being the invisible son. Now I'm going to be something they never expected. Unforgiving. I stood at the altar, staring at the 2 empty seats in the front row that were meant for my parents. Every second dragged like an eternity. My bride, Lily, looked radiant, her smile trembling slightly as she noticed the absence too. She squeezed my hand gently, whispering, "It's okay. We have each other." But it wasn't okay. It wasn't even close. The ceremony continued, and I forced a smile through clenched teeth. Cameras flashed, music played, and guests clapped, but all I could feel was a growing storm in my chest. I had called my mother that morning to make sure she and Dad had everything they needed. I even arranged a private car to pick them up. She answered with a breezy, distracted voice, saying, "Sweetheart, don't worry about us. We're going to Olivia's engagement party. You'll understand one day." Understand? She said it like I had asked her to miss a dentist appointment, not the single most important day of my life. I hung up, stunned, thinking maybe she was joking. Maybe it was a twisted prank. Surely she wouldn't. But now, staring at those vacant chairs while the officiant declared us husband and wife, I knew it wasn't a joke. They really didn't come. They chose her. Again. After the reception, I sat alone in the groom's suite while Lily danced with her father. My fists trembled as I scrolled through my phone. There it was, an Instagram story from Olivia, taken just hours earlier. My parents were smiling ear to ear, clinking champagne glasses with Olivia and her fiancé in some upscale rooftop restaurant. The caption read, "So proud of our girl. She deserves the world." No mention of me. No congratulations. No apology. That night, while guests laughed and shared stories, I slipped away and went home early. I lay awake in our hotel suite, the weight of years crashing down on me like a tidal wave. I was the eldest. The responsible one. The rock of the family, they always said. When Dad lost his job, I paid the mortgage. When Mom needed surgery, I covered the hospital bills. When Olivia wanted a lavish wedding but couldn't afford it, guess who wrote the check? And now? Now that it was finally my moment? They were too busy celebrating her second engagement. Her second. My mind replayed every sacrifice I had made over the years. I skipped vacations, worked double shifts, and delayed buying a house just so they could stay afloat. And for what? They still treated me like the backup child. The insurance policy. I tried to keep it together for Lily's sake, but the cracks were showing. She saw the way my hands shook when I scrolled through messages from relatives asking why my parents weren't there. She heard me curse under my breath when another congratulatory post tagged my sister, but not me. 3 days later, I got a call from Dad. He started with, "Hey champ," as if nothing had happened. I said nothing. "We saw the pictures," he continued. "Everything looked beautiful. We'll come by this weekend and bring a gift." I exploded. "A gift?" I shouted. "You missed your own son's wedding and you think a gift makes up for that?" He went quiet. Then, casually, he replied, "Olivia needed us. You have Lily. You're a man. You're strong enough to handle it." That was it. That was the moment something inside me snapped. I had spent 30 years proving I was strong. Strong enough to carry this entire family on my back. But strength didn't mean silence. It didn't mean being treated like a footnote in my own life story. I said, voice cold and steady, "Don't come. I don't want your gift. I don't want your visit. I want space." He scoffed. "You're being dramatic." "No," I replied. "I'm being honest." Then I hung up. Lily watched from the kitchen doorway, her eyes soft with worry. I walked over, wrapped my arms around her, and whispered, "I think I'm done with them." She nodded. "You should have been done a long time ago." The days that followed were filled with awkward silences and explosive texts from my parents. My mom cried over voicemail. "I was trying to be fair," she claimed. "Your sister needed us too. You know how fragile she is." Fragile? Olivia was a grown woman who left her first husband after cheating on him and begged for a second shot at love. And now they were rewarding her with undivided attention while I, the one who never asked for anything, was cast aside? I replied with a single sentence, "Your absence at my wedding said more than any excuse ever could." They didn't respond after that. Instead, Olivia jumped in. She texted me, "Why are you being so selfish? My engagement was a once-in-a-lifetime moment." I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. Once in a lifetime? For her? I replied, "Your once-in-a-lifetime ruined mine." The next day, I took every family photo off my walls and boxed them up. I unfollowed every single one of them on social media. I didn't block them, I wanted them to see me moving on. Thriving. Building a new family without them. That night, I took Lily's hand and said, "Let's start our life without their weight on our backs." She smiled, kissed me softly, and whispered, "Finally." But I wasn't done yet. Because cutting them off wasn't just an emotional decision, it was financial too. If they thought I was done just because I hung up the phone, they had no idea what was coming next. 2 weeks after the wedding, I did something I should have done years ago. I opened my laptop, logged into my bank account, and began systematically cutting the financial umbilical cord that had kept my parents and Olivia afloat for over a decade. First, I canceled the automatic transfer that paid my parents' rent. $1,300 every month, gone. I had been covering that since Dad's layoff in 2015. He claimed he'd get back on his feet. It's been 10 years. Next, I pulled up Olivia's wedding loan. Yes, her wedding. She wanted a dream ceremony but had bad credit, so I co-signed the loan in my name. I'd been making the monthly payments for 2 years. I called the bank and told them I would no longer be making payments on behalf of Olivia Callahan. "Let the primary borrower handle it," I said. "It's her wedding, not mine." The woman on the line hesitated. "Sir, you do realize if she defaults, your credit." "Then let it burn," I said. "It'll be worth it." Because that's what it had come to, I was willing to ruin my own credit score just to be free of them. I stared at the final number, $287,000. That's how much I had spent on my family over the past decade. Mortgage payments, medical bills, wedding loans, tuition help, bail money. Yes, Olivia once got arrested for drunk driving and I paid the fine. I had given them everything. And they gave me nothing in return. Not even a seat at my own wedding. Later that night, I drafted a final message in the family group chat. Effective immediately, I will no longer be financially supporting anyone in this family. You made your choice when you skipped my wedding. From now on, Olivia can be the golden child in your retirement plan. Then I left the group. 30 seconds later, my phone exploded. First, Dad. "Don't do this. We're your parents." Then Mom. "This is cruel. We were just trying to support both of our children equally." Then Olivia. "Are you seriously throwing a tantrum because I got more attention? Grow up." I stared at her message, stunned. She wasn't sorry. Not even remotely. She actually believed I was the villain. So I replied. "I paid for your wedding. You paid me back by hijacking mine. I'm done." I didn't wait for her response. I blocked her number. Lily sat next to me, silent for a long time, before finally whispering, "Are you okay?" I nodded. For the first time in years. "Yeah. I think I am." We celebrated by doing something small but symbolic. We went furniture shopping. For years, I had been delaying big purchases because I needed to help the family first. Now, I picked out a beautiful new leather sofa without guilt. Lily picked out curtains. We laughed. It felt light. Like we were finally living for us. But peace didn't last long. That weekend, my parents showed up. Unannounced. I heard a knock, opened the door, and there they were, Dad in his faded golf shirt, Mom holding a Tupperware container like that would fix everything. "Can we come in?" she asked, eyes wide with fake concern. "No," I said, blocking the doorway. Dad stepped forward. "We just want to talk." "You talked when you chose Olivia's party over my wedding," I replied. "You made everything crystal clear." "Brian, come on," Dad said. "You can't just cut off your own family over one mistake." "One?" I laughed. "You've been making the same mistake since I was 16. Always choosing her. Always expecting me to carry the load. You didn't come to my graduation, remember? Because Olivia broke up with a boyfriend and needed emotional support." Dad winced. Mom looked like she wanted to cry. "But we love you." "Then why does it never feel like it?" I asked, voice cracking. "You don't love me, you love what I do for you. The money. The stability. The safety net." They stood there, speechless. So I finished it. "I'm done being the backup plan. From now on, you deal with your own mess. You want to celebrate Olivia? Fine. Let her pay your rent. Let her take care of you when you're sick. Let her pick up the slack. I'm not your son anymore. I'm your ex-ATM." And I shut the door in their faces. I expected screaming, banging, drama. But there was just silence. They stood on the porch for a minute or two, then left. I watched through the peephole as they walked down the driveway, small, defeated, and still somehow shocked. They never imagined I'd really do it. They thought I'd always cave, like I always had. But this time, I didn't. That night, Lily and I made dinner together. We toasted with cheap wine and fancy glasses. We were broke, but free. And I finally understood something. Family isn't blood. Family is who shows up. A week passed. No calls. No texts. Not even a passive-aggressive email from Mom, which was almost disappointing. Then, out of nowhere, I got a letter in the mail. Not an envelope, a manila folder. Inside was a printed statement from my parents' landlord. Apparently, they hadn't paid rent in 2 months. My name was still listed as the guarantor. There was a sticky note attached in Mom's handwriting. "We thought you'd take care of this. We're really struggling." I stared at it in disbelief. They didn't even ask. They just assumed. Lily read over my shoulder and said, "This isn't just entitlement. It's delusion." I agreed. But instead of calling them, I wrote something even better, a letter of my own. "Dear Mr. and Mrs. Callahan, I am no longer financially responsible for you. You chose to exclude me from one of the most important days of my life. That choice has consequences. You are both capable adults. Figure it out. Sincerely, Brian, your son, not your bank account." I sent copies to both their landlord and their personal address. 2 days later, Olivia called me from a new number. I should have blocked it. I should have ignored it. But I picked up. "Brian, what the hell did you do?" she snapped. No greeting. No apology. Just straight up rage. "I stopped paying your rent. What do you think I did?" I replied. "Mom and Dad are freaking out. They could get evicted. That sounds like a them problem. You're really gonna let our parents become homeless over a wedding?" "No," I said calmly. "I'm letting them become homeless because they've leeched off me for 10 years, and the one time I asked for emotional support, they went to your damn party instead." She scoffed. "You're being dramatic. And you're being selfish," I said. "You think I owe you because you exist. But you don't get to ruin my wedding and expect me to keep funding your life." Olivia went quiet. Then, her voice dropped into that fake, sugary tone she always used to manipulate Mom and Dad. "Ryan, don't you care about family?" I laughed, actually laughed. Funny how that word only comes up when you want something. And I hung up. That night, I told Lily I wanted to do something symbolic. A funeral. Not for a person, for a role. We drove to a park, built a small fire in a legal fire pit, and I burned every old bill, every receipt, every loan agreement I signed on their behalf. I even printed out the family group chat messages and threw those in too. Lily stood beside me, holding my hand as the flames danced. "This is it," I said. "I'm done being their crutch." The next morning, I got a call from Grandma Callahan. She's never been involved in the drama. Always stayed neutral. But this time, her voice was firm. "Brian," she said, "I just want you to know I'm proud of you." I blinked. "Wait, what?" "I raised your father better than this," she said. "And I told him so. He made his bed. Now he can lie in it." I nearly cried. It was the first time someone from my family had validated what I did. I thought maybe I was being too harsh, I admitted. "You weren't," she said. "They've taken advantage of you for too long. Boundaries are not cruelty, they're necessary." I thanked her profusely. It was the first call I'd had in months that didn't leave me feeling drained or manipulated. But of course, peace doesn't last long in the Callahan family. 2 days later, I woke up to a Facebook post from my mother. A long, tearful status that read like a pity novel. "Some of you know we've been going through hard times. Our son has abandoned us. After all we've done, he turned his back on us. We never thought love could be so conditional." Over 50 comments. Friends and distant relatives chiming in. "So sorry," sending prayers, folded hands emoji. "Kids today have no respect for their parents. He'll regret it someday." Lily grabbed my phone. "You were not reading the comments." But I did. And I felt the anger boiling again, not because they misunderstood, but because my parents let them. They made me the villain in a story where I'd been the unpaid hero for years. So I posted my own comment. "Funny how you forgot to mention that you skipped my wedding to go to Olivia's engagement party. Or that I've paid your rent, your bills, and Olivia's wedding loan for over a decade. Love is conditional, on respect. Which I never got. The comment blew up. Half of the people unfriended me. The other half messaged me privately to say, I had no idea. I didn't care about being liked anymore. I cared about truth. Later that week, I checked their landlord's website. The eviction notice had been filed. And you know what? I didn't feel guilty. Because I realized something no one ever told me growing up. It's not heartless to stop setting yourself on fire to keep other people warm. I always thought closure would come with peace. But standing in front of the courtroom that morning, watching my parents avoid my eyes while their lawyer flipped through forged property documents they tried to steal from me, I realized closure doesn't come peacefully. It comes like a damn storm. 3 months after I evicted my parents and Olivia from my home, they retaliated. Not with apologies, not with reconciliation, but with fraud. They had taken the deed to a piece of investment land I bought years ago and tried to transfer partial ownership to themselves by claiming I had verbally agreed to co-sign it with them. They forged my signature. Lied under oath. And when I got the letter from their lawyer, I didn't cry. I laughed. Then I called my own lawyer. You want to sue your own parents? He asked. They're already suing me, I said. I'm just finishing the job. The courtroom was cold. My mother looked frail, like she hoped her physical weakness would make her seem innocent. My father sat stone-faced. Olivia wasn't there. Of course not. She only shows up when it's about her. Their lawyer argued that I owed them support as their son. That I was cruelly evicting the people who raised me. That I had promised to share all assets with the family. I leaned forward, looked the judge straight in the eye, and said, my parents were not evicted from their home. They were removed from mine. They forged documents to steal land I purchased with my own money, then lied about it in court. I'm not cruel. I'm done. My countersuit included years of financial records, transfers, bill payments, wedding expenses, all traceable back to me. They had contributed nothing. The judge didn't even need a full trial. Case dismissed. Countersuit upheld. They were ordered to pay damages, legal fees, and submit a written apology to the court acknowledging the forgery. I never saw it. I didn't care. That should have been the end. But Olivia called me that night, voice trembling. They're ruined, Brian, she said. How could you do this to Mom and Dad? How could they do it to me? I asked. You think I wanted this? You humiliated them. No, I snapped, they humiliated themselves when they made their son their financial hostage. She went silent. Then she said the words that sealed everything. You'll die alone. I laughed bitterly. Maybe. But at least I'll die free. Click. I blocked her number. The next few weeks were strangely quiet. My phone stopped ringing. No more guilt-tripping texts. No sudden drop-ins. It was the first time in years that I could hear my own thoughts. That silence was healing. One night, Lily and I were watching the sunset from the back porch. She turned to me and said, do you ever feel like you went too far? I thought about it. Thought about the years I gave them. The debt I paid for Olivia. The wedding I funded. The mortgage I covered. The fact that they skipped my wedding without remorse. Then tried to steal from me. No, I said. If anything, I didn't go far enough. She nodded, squeezing my hand. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about recovery. I donated the money from the lawsuit to a legal fund that helps young adults escape abusive families. I anonymously wrote about my story online, how I went from golden child to villain the moment I said no. Thousands of people responded. Stories just like mine. Sons and daughters used like ATMs. Manipulated with love as currency. Guilted into silence. I wasn't alone. Eventually, a podcast invited me to speak, anonymously. I agreed. The host asked one question that stayed with me. Do you ever miss them? I swallowed hard. I miss who I thought they were. Because the truth is, my family didn't die. They didn't disappear. They didn't get taken from me. They were always there. They just never loved me the way I loved them. And now, I finally believed that wasn't my fault. A few months later, I stood on that piece of land they tried to steal. The sky was open, wind soft. I had cleared it, planted wildflowers. It looked nothing like a battleground. It looked like a beginning. I was going to build something there. Not just a house, but a new life. One without strings. One where I owed no one anything but honesty and boundaries. I named the project Ashwood. Like something beautiful rising from fire. I wrote one final letter that night. Not for them. For me. Dear Mom, Dad, and Olivia. You taught me that love has conditions. That family is only family if I fund it. That saying no makes me selfish. You taught me that silence means peace. But I've learned silence can also be survival. I'm done surviving. I'm living now. Goodbye. I burned the letter and watched it turn to ash. And in that moment, I realized. Sometimes, walking away isn't the selfish thing. It's the most loving thing you can do for yourself. So I walked. And I didn't look back.